Hi guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. So, Court TV has this 4-hour special um on that was just done recently. Hold on. Well, I don't know when it was shot, but they published it 4 months ago. And it was an interview with Mark Furman. 4 hours long. Interview with Mark Furman where, they wanted him to say why OJ won. How did OJ win? Why did he win? So, I mean, y'all been hyping Mark Furman up a lot. He wasn't that bad the first go around with the prosecutor. I hear he gets way worse with the defense attorney. And it kept showing up in my feed, and I'm like, oh God, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. When is this going to go away? It's suggestive video over and over and over every day. Suggestive video, Mark Furman, Court TV, blah, blah, blah. So it was 4 hours long, and I don't have 4 hours. Well, the other day I had 4 hours. I wasn't feeling very well, so I just was like not doing anything, just laying there trying to feel better. So I put this 4-hour stream on Mark Furman, in his own words, why OJ did it. I wasn't able to get through the whole thing. I got through most of it. I got through 80% of it. But it was disgusting. It made me nauseous. He is disgusting. We couldn't, just to get to him to say why OJ won, he was saying he's just a disgusting person. I do not suggest you watch it. I don't even, if you can get through the first hour listening to him spew his bullshit. So yeah, I don't know if that changed my mind about him planting evidence. I don't think he planted evidence. I just don't. Is he a disgusting human being? Absolutely. Did he plant evidence in the OJ case? No. He did tell me some stuff I didn't know, and that wasn't allowed in the trial. That makes me pretty damn sure if it's true. OJ definitely did this. I mean, he just definitely did this. But Josh Tyler's on the stand. You missed it. Tyler got on the stand today, but it was just boring stuff so far. Like he didn't shoot at a police car. Anyway, there is that 4-hour video from Court TV. Mark Furman, why did OJ win? Whatever, in his own words. I absolutely don't suggest you watch it unless you want to vomit. He's a disgusting person. So let's go to Fung, who we never hear from. I can't find any. I didn't look terribly hard, but he didn't write a book. He didn't do a movie. He didn't do this or that. He just went back to work after this and then worked, I don't know. He might still be there. Who knows? He just slipped into, the backstage and didn't try to get anything from the OJ Simpson case.
On the afternoon of June 13th at Rockingham.
10 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock in?
At 10:15 on June 12th, or around that time, if somehow a smear of blood had been deposited on the ankle of one of those socks, would you expect it to have dried by the time that you saw those socks in Mr. Simpson's bedroom on the afternoon of June 13th?
Yes.
And if blood dries on a smear and the sock is in any way manipulated, would you not expect to see flakes of blood fall off the sock?
It assumes facts, not evidence. This is proper hypothetical.
Sustained.
Let us assume, for the sake of exploring this issue with you, sir, that somehow one of those socks had been covered with a smear of wet blood at 10:15 p.m. on June 12th. you would expect that smear to be dried, I think you've indicated, by the time you saw it on the afternoon of June 13th.
Your Honor, I object. It's an improper hypothetical as to smear.
Oh, well, I would expect it to be dry.
And if we further assume that in the act of taking off socks, the area in the ankle had been folded or rubbed, would you not expect flakes of blood to come off the sock?
That would depend on how much blood was present. If it was a light amount or a very small amount, I would not.
Not only that, okay. Let's say it's his blood. He got it from the cut on his finger. We've seen the cut on his finger. That was an actual real cut. All right. So that blood from the cut on your finger, that would be like thin blood. You know what I mean? It'd be thin, wet blood. So if that gets on the sock, it's not going to pile up on the sock enough that it would just like flake off. It would get absorbed into the fibers of the sock, and it would just like stain the sock red. But let's say you're cut in the neck. That is much thicker blood. That's not the real thin blood that comes, much thicker blood. And let's say, you were getting cut and the blood tries to clot. You know what I mean? Then you can get a clot on your sock. Now that won't dry. That won't dry right away. The thicker blood won't dry as fast as the thin blood. I mean, no one has to say that out loud. So when he's talking about blood on these socks, what kind of blood is it? What did it come from? Her neck? Did it come from his, side? You know what I mean? If it came from his side, was there anything else mixed with that blood to make it different? Because there's like the stomach and kidney and the liver, and you know what I mean? So these questions don't make sense. Just like the blood on the glove. The glove is leather. The glove was soaked, but what kind of blood was it soaked with? Was it real thick blood, or was it like a thinner blood? You know what I mean? I wish by now we would have an idea of how these two people got murdered. I wish by now we would know, okay, he knocked Nicole out and then he went after Ron, or Ron stayed to help Nicole after, OJ started to stab her, hit her, punch her, or whatever. I wish the prosecutor would have let us know what happened during this murder in some way, shape, or form. They have to know where the people were stabbed. Was it in the thigh? Was it in the neck? Was it, you know what I mean? Where did the blood come? I wish they would tell us something. But all we know now is a dog barked. And that stupid 4-hour video with Furman, he did say that like if the change on the ground, if they would have printed that change and found OJ's prints on it, that would have been indicative of someone who like was pulling keys out of their pockets, running from the scene, pulling keys out of their pockets, and change fell. It would have put OJ, it would have been another piece of evidence that put OJ there. There was also a big fingerprint on the back gate, bloody fingerprint on the back gate. And Furman wrote it in his notes that day. Remember, when he was in charge of the crime scene for like 20 minutes or 40 minutes before they said, we're handing over to robbery homicide. And then he stopped. He finished writing his notes and he stopped. In those notes, he was writing, there is a bloody fingerprint on the back gate. They didn't read his notes for 2 months. No one got that fingerprint, or they got it 2 months later or whatever. No one got that fingerprint. So I don't know. I just wish the prosecution would make this more about a murder trial and not about the LAPD. If they would just keep hammering the murder, maybe the jury would have felt bad for the victims instead of, mad about the LAPD.
Expect any it was a very
Take a nap.
heavy
Sleep.
amount where it would have crusted in a clot type of fashion, then I would expect maybe there
Thank
would
you,
be
Fung.
flakes.
Thank you.
Well, if there were a smear of blood, half an inch to an inch long,
Your Honor, there's no evidence of such a smear. It's an improper hypothetical.
I'm a mom. I know a lot about blood.
would you expect that that might, if dried, and the sock were folded and manipulated, leave flakes of blood that might be visible on that throw rug?
That would depend on the concentration of blood present on that 1.5 inches of smear.
Or no, half inch. Let's start with a half inch.
Okay, 1/2 inch.
So I take it that you could, under certain circumstances, to use your terms, depending on concentration, expect to see flakes of blood.
Under certain circumstances, there may be some present, yes.
All right. And you get flakes of blood with dried socks when they're manipulated or taken off. That could happen.
Calls for speculation.
Sustained.
You saw no flakes, right?
That's correct.
Now, let's go back to the Bundy crime scene for a second. When you were at the Bundy crime scene, did Detective Lang take you out to that caged-in area where Mr. Goldman's body was found?
Yes,
And there was soil in that area.
yes,
And in the back of that area, did he not point out to you what appeared to be a dugout hole?
I don't recall him pointing that out to me.
Well, did you see what appeared to be a dugout area in that caged-in soil part of the Bundy crime scene?
Vegas to the term dug out.
Sustained. Rephrase the question. Do you have a photograph?
Do you recall Detective Lang discussing with you that he believed there had been a fierce struggle between Mr. Goldman and an assailant in that caged-in area?
Calls for hearsay.
Sustained.
Were you under any instructions to look for clothing that might have soil on it from that caged-in area?
At which scene?
Well, from your examination of the Bundy scene and the area where Mr. Goldman was found, did you reach a judgment that some of the struggle might have occurred in that soil area,
That was one possibility.
and that one of the assailants might have, in the course of that struggle, kicked up soil onto shoes, pants, and socks?
Assumes the fact not in evidence, Your Honor, and calls for speculation.
All right.
Or will
Assailants.
you can answer the question?
All right. Did you consider, when you were examining the Bundy crime scene, that in a struggle with Mr. Goldman, an assailant might have gotten the area of the shoes and the socks and the pants covered with soil from that area?
I got to. I can't shut up. I'm sorry. I got to. He is a criminalist. His job is to go to the scene and collect the evidence. That's his job. His job is not to make the evidence fit what he thinks might have happened at that scene. You have any idea how, horrible it would be if criminalists tried to make the evidence fit what they think might have happened at that scene? That is not his job. His job is to go to the scene and collect the evidence. Yes, does he have to guess some things? Does he have to make some decisions like there is a pool of blood here? Maybe there is one 5 feet away. I'm going to go over there and look. Yes, but his job is not to figure out how these people died. His job is to collect any evidence at that scene. Jeez.
That is a possibility.
Did you not see such soil on the shoes and socks of Mr. Goldman?
I did not examine the shoes of Mr. Golden.
Did you not see dug out areas in that soil that reflected a struggle between Mr. Goldman and someone else?
Dugout areas
Yes, dug out areas in the soil
that indicated a struggle?
that might be consistent with a struggle.
Still vague cause for speculation.
Oh, I did not make that determination.
So did you see anything that could be consistent with that?
There was a disturbed area in the dirt area.
What do you mean by disturbed?
There was loose dirt in one portion of the caged in area.
Loose dirt that could have been kicked up onto Mr. Goldman and an assailant during a struggle.
It's possible.
When you went to the Rockingham, I think we've found what is 83 in evidence.
Right.
It wasn't the cat this time. It's not annoying. Everybody's awake now?
Now, Mr. Fung, when you walked up the stairs at Rockingham on the afternoon of June 13th, did you see any soil on the carpet of the stairwell?
I did not notice any heavy staining of the carpet, no.
Well, did you see any small flecks or flakes of soil on that carpet?
No.
In the carpet that covered the entryway to Mr. Simpson's master bedroom, did you see any soil or flecks of soil on that carpet?
No.
In the carpet surrounding the throw rug where you found the socks in Mr. Simpson's master bedroom, did you see any evidence of soil?
I did not see any.
On the throw rug where you found the socks, did you see any evidence of soil
No.
or dust?
Dust may have been present, but I didn't take
Did
a
you-
note of it.
I'm sorry, you finished?
Yes.
Did you see on either sock any soil?
I didn't notice any.
In the master bedroom, withdraw. Did you go into the bathroom?
The master bathroom?
Master bathroom.
Yes, I did.
And did you take towels out of the hamper in that master bedroom area?
I did not personally.
Mr. Fung, if someone were to take their bloody shoes off before they entered the house and then walked up the steps, would you find the dirt, soil, and blood from the shoes on the steps? Is it possible?
No.
Idiot.
But when you arrived there, you saw that somebody had done that.
I don't know if it was before I arrived or after I arrived, but it was done by somebody else.
Was it done in your presence?
There may have been some of it going on in my presence, but I don't recall how much.
Who was doing it in your presence?
I don't recall that.
Was it a detective?
Yes.
And they were looking through towels in the bathroom.
They were looking through the contents of the hamper in the bathroom.
Contained towels.
I didn't go through it that carefully.
Contained clothes.
There were clothing.
And no one called to your attention any clothing or any towel that had a trace of blood.
Overruled.
That's correct.
And no one called to your attention any towel or any clothing that contained soil.
That's correct.
I'd like to turn now to the circumstances of your collection of the socks. Now, I think you told us on direct examination that you have no recollection now as to whether you used the glove method or the scoop method to collect the socks.
That's correct.
But you're sure that you collected the socks and not Miss Mazzola.
Yes.
In going back over your evidence collection sheet, did you and Miss Mazzola talk about who collected what?
John, I got fired 20 days ago, so I don't do doubles anymore. So now I can stream.
Yes.
And before you came in to testify, the two of you had discussed which one of you collected which item, and you filled in the copy of the evidence collected sheet that you have before you with such designations.
We did to the best of our memories. Yes.
And you were doing this to the best of your memories when?
I don't really recall when. It was several months after.
Well, was it a month before this trial?
No, it was, well, maybe more than a month.
Was it after you testified at a proceeding in this court in August?
Yes.
Now, when you filled out your evidence item collection sheet for Rockingham, however, you did fill in the times that certain items were collected here on June 13th.
The items were filled in, yes.
And when you put in times for these items on June 13th, you filled them in that day.
They were filled in that day.
Your Honor, I'd like to put up on the Elmo a copy of the evidence collection sheet, but I'm putting a Post-it over a certain portion.
All right.
Oh man, you know what would be epic? Guys, you know what would be epic? If he posted something on the if he posted something on the Elmo that was the luggage tag or the airplane ticket. Oh my god, I would die. Vicky, it was going downhill. It was going downhill quickly at that job. So it's all good. Like the pain in my ankles and legs it's just so much better now that I'm not walking around all day long. It's lovely. It's lovely. Why is this so high? We were waiting for this dip. Remember, I spoke about it yesterday or the day before.
Before you do that, sir?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Now, this is an overall shot of your evidence collection sheet for that day.
Yes.
And there's a box there that indicates times, is there not?
Yes.
And then starting at, I believe, item 11, if we could focus on that, Mr. Harris, starting at item 11. We could zero in on that. Move it just, that's it, great. All right, item 11 represents the first item that was collected when you and Ms. Mazzola returned to Rockingham in the afternoon.
Yes.
And you put down that time as 3:40 for 1540 hours.
That was the time that was put down.
And to your knowledge, is that accurate?
That's the general time frame that it was collected.
All right. And then the next item was a red stain from the foyer area inside Rockingham, correct?
Yes.
And that one was collected at 4:30.
Yes.
And the
Or thereabouts.
or thereabouts. And the next item you collected were the socks,
Yes,
but there's no time indicated for that.
that's correct.
And the next item after that you indicated was a red stain that was found in the master bathroom.
Yes,
And that time is at 4:40.
yes,
So I believe it was your testimony on direct examination that you collected the socks sometime between 4:30 and 4:40.
about then, yes.
And then before you left the residence, you collected two other items, numbers 15 and 16, and those were at 5 and 5:05.
The checklist states 15 and 16 were collected at about the same time.
Well, what times were those listed on the checklist? Perhaps you can help us. It's a little difficult to see.
They
at
both
the
say the
bottom.
same time, 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. And those were items that were collected as you walked out of Rockingham in the front door area.
Your Honor, I'll object to any testimony about 15 and 16
Sustain.
Now,
and make a motion to strike that part of the testimony to the extent it came in.
Oral.
Now, at the time that you were doing your collection in Mr. Simpson's master bedroom area, did you see someone?
Doesn't matter. Mr. Simpson is again present before the court with his counsel, Mr. Shapiro, Mr. Cochran, Mr. Blazer, Mr. Scheck. People represented by Mr. Darden and Mr. Goldberg. Jury is not present. Counsel, anything we need to chat about before we invite the jurors to join us?
Yes, Your Honor, we wanted to discuss the issue of failing tests yesterday afternoon. And I don't
All right,
know-
let's do that at the conclusion of the cross-examination because we're into a different section now. All right, Deputy McNair, let's have the jurors, please.
Bring up, it won't take that long. I noticed that during Mr. Fung's cross-examination, there appeared to be reactions coming from the audience. I can't tell exactly where they're coming from, but they are clearly audible. And I'd ask that the court try to put an end to that. I don't think that's.
There were two rather short reactions to two sections. That's correct. All right, but they were brief and they ended immediately without any action by the court.
I just asked that the court admonish the audience that there should be no noise, no reaction during the examination of any witness.
All right. I think the court's order is already in place. I think the audience is aware of their obligations. All right, let's proceed. All right, let the record reflect we've been rejoined by all the members of our jury panel. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Fung, would you resume the witness stand, please? All right, good morning, Mr. Fung.
Morning.
You're reminded you're still under oath, sir. Mr. Fung is undergoing cross-examination by Mr. Sheck. Mr. Sheck, you may continue and conclude your cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Morning, Mr. Fung. How are you today, sir?
Morning.
Mr. Fung, just to return briefly to one point, you recall that we discussed Barry Fisher's book, Techniques of Crime Scene Investigation,
Yes.
and you indicated that you were familiar with at least one edition of this book,
Portions of one edition, yes.
and that you had considered this text in the formation of your opinions as criminalist.
Yes.
I'd like to call your attention, sir, to passage that I couldn't find yesterday. With respect to Fisher's views on the collection and preservation of bloodstains. And I call your attention to the first paragraph here on page 227.
All right, have you shown that to counsel?
I think he has the book.
Certainly. Why don't we take this opportunity, Mr. Fung, you can read the paragraph, see if you're familiar with that.
What page, counsel?
227.
Mrs. Robinson.
Mr. Fung, you agree that this is a section in Fisher concerning the collection and preservation of bloodstains.
Yes.
And Fisher states that of all the common types of,
Your Honor, I'll check. There's no evidence that you read this edition.
Foundation objection, sustained.
are you familiar with this passage in the Fisher book in the edition that you read?
I don't recall it.
Do you recall in the edition that you read anything that Fisher said with respect to the fact that it's a certainty that wet or damp bloodstains packaged in airtight containers?
Sustained. No, there's a foundational objection.
In the edition that you read, do you recall Mr. Fisher offering a view as to whether or not wet bloodstains ought to be packaged in airtight?
Sustained. Mr. Fung, in your reading of this book, Barry Fisher's book, are you familiar with this particular section regarding the collection of blood evidence?
I don't recall reading this particular section.
All right, did you review it here just now?
Yes, I did.
Did it appear familiar to you at all?
I've read similar types of things before, but I'm not sure it's from that book.
All right, are these materials that you've relied upon in forming your opinion in the expressing the opinions that you've given in testimony so far?
Yes.
Proceed.
Do you recall in the edition of Fisher that you read whether Mr. Fisher indicates that it's a certainty that wet or damp bloodstains packaged in airtight containers such as plastic bags will be useless as evidence in a matter of days?
I don't recall that, but that's what it says in this book.
And that any type of preservation technique that hastens putrefaction should be avoided?
That's what it says.
And that would be, putrefaction would mean degradation.
Yes.
And that thus storing bloodstains that are still damp in airtight containers or in a warm environments will accelerate deterioration of the specimen.
That's correct.
Conversely, an air-dried sample stored in a paper bag at room temperature or better under refrigeration will retain its evidentiary usefulness for a significantly longer period of time.
That's correct.
Do you agree with Mr. Fisher?
Mr. Fisher is referring to final packaging in that section, and I do agree with that.
Well, where in this passage do you see any reference to Mr. Fisher saying that his admonition against using plastic or airtight containers only applies to final packaging?
Well, in this one phrase here, it says, will be useless as evidence in a matter of days. That, to me, means that that would be final packaging.
In the next paragraph, does not Fisher states, once blood evidence has been found, it must be collected and preserved in such a manner to achieve maximum benefit. All too often, improper collection and preservation of this type of evidence make the crime laboratory's work difficult and sometimes impossible. Very next paragraph.
I did collect it and preserve it in a manner to maximum benefit by putting it in plastic as an intermediate step to prevent contamination.
Well, does not Fisher indicate in this passage that to maintain the maximum benefit, one should attempt to air dry the samples at the scene?
That misstates the evidence.
Sustain, reread the passage.
Does not Fisher begin this whole section by saying, of all the common types of evidence found at crime scenes, blood is perhaps the most fragile. The value of blood stains for typing begins to diminish almost immediately.
I would say ice evidence would be more fragile. If you had ice evidence and you're not in Alaska, that would be way more fragile. Or ice cream.
Yes?
Yes,
The stability and utility of blood stains varies from several days to months depending on the blood grouping system sought.
yes,
Naturally, proper preservation procedures improve the chances of determining blood types.
yes.
So, from reading this passage, would you not agree that Fisher is communicating the fact that one should avoid at any time putting wet blood stains in plastic containers?
I don't think that's what he's saying there.
So your position is that it's okay to use plastic bags to package wet blood stains as long as it's temporary.
What do you mean by temporary?
Well, what do you mean by temporary?
Well, counts as the one that needs to.
How long?
Phrase the question.
How long do you think it would be sound to keep wet blood stains, swatches we're talking about, in plastic containers?
There would be many factors that would go into that.
Would you not agree that the best practice would be to let the samples air dry at the scene?
No, not necessarily.
Would that not be the way to achieve the maximum benefit in terms of preserving the evidence?
Not necessarily.
Now, you began collecting the blood drops at Bundy at what time?
Approximately 11 o'clock, 11:30, around then.
You began putting them in plastic bags around 11 o'clock, 11:30, you and Miss Mazzola.
Approximately.
And you put those plastic bags inside coin envelopes.
Yes,
And you put the coin envelopes eventually into a large brown paper bag.
yes,
And you put those brown paper bags on the floor of the crime scene processing truck at some time that afternoon.
yes.
And the sun was shining.
Sun was shining.
And it was hot inside that truck.
No, they have air conditioner. It's LA, dumbass. Okay. I'll be right back, guys. I gotta take my daughter to work. It's time. She's gonna be late if we don't leave now. So I'll be back. I'm gonna leave this running and pretend I'm here. I'll be able to watch the stream and chat while I'm driving, but I can't do anything because I'm driving a car. So behave. Feel free to talk in chat, but don't say anything bad, please. Please.
There were periods when I went out to the truck to make sure it wasn't getting too hot.
Well, by what means? By opening the doors and waving your hands there?
Periodically, I would go to the truck to see if it was getting hot or not.
That was getting hot, wasn't it?
It was getting warm.
And you did not begin the process of taking those wet blood stains out of those plastic bags until around 6:30 in the evening.
Yes,
So you had those wet stains in the plastic bags from, I guess your estimate is somewhere around 11:30 in the morning until 6:30 in the evening.
Those things is overly broad.
Sustain Fred's
It's
question.
the blood swatches that you collected at Bundy.
yes,
So let's see, that would be something on the order of 7 hours.
yes.
Is that your interpretation of temporary storage?
My goal was to get the blood I collected into the drying state by the evening, and I accomplished that goal. And I feel that is a proper, or that was the proper way to collect and preserve that evidence.
Is there a refrigerator in the crime scene processing truck?
There is one, yes.
Didn't use that.
No. That is because the refrigerator doesn't, well, it stops working after several hours. It doesn't keep working.
Is that a
Continuously.
defect in the refrigerator or
It's just,
non-functional refrigerator
well,
in the crime
it
scene
does
truck?
work, but it's
Excuse
been
me,
my,
excuse me, counsel. And Mr. Fung, let him finish asking the question before you start to answer. Mr. Scheck, let him answer the question before you start discussing it with him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right?
Is that
Correct,
a
Madam?
non-functioning refrigerator? Is that what you're telling us?
it's been my experience that after several hours, the refrigerator doesn't kick on anymore.
Isn't it your responsibility as a criminalist under the rules to make sure that the equipment is functioning in the crime scene processing truck?
As best I can.
Don't you keep a log that when you check out the truck in the morning?
No,
Isn't there a crime scene processing? Yes. Isn't there a crime scene truck supplies checklist?
I believe there is one, yes.
You've seen it, haven't you? All right, ask that these 4 pages be marked defendants next in order.
Mrs. Robertson? 1095.
Have you seen this form before?
I have not seen this form before.
You've never seen a form entitled Crime Scene Truck Checklist?
I have not seen this particular form before.
Have you seen one like it?
I've seen inventory of the items that are supposed to be in the truck.
And before you take out the truck, at some point, do you do an inventory to make sure that all the proper equipment is in the truck?
The crime scene processing unit is assigned that task.
All right, so it's your understanding it's the responsibility of the crime scene processing unit to see that all of the proper materials are in the truck.
Yes.
And it's their responsibility to make sure that equipment such as the refrigerator is working.
Yes.
And had you had any discussions with any members of the crime scene unit about the fact that the refrigerator, I guess as you've told us, can't be relied upon to function over a few hour period of time?
When the truck, the battery just doesn't work after a long period of time. And it kicks on, but kicks back on when the truck is started again.
Now, Mr. Fung, you are now a criminalist 3.
Yes.
And when you started at the LAPD crime lab, I take it you began as a criminalist 1.
Yes.
And to get from a criminalist 1 to a criminalist 2, did you have to take any oral or written examinations?
No.
To get from a criminalist 2 to a criminalist 3, did you have to take any oral or written examinations?
Yes.
And what were those, sir?
There was a written examination and regarding laboratory type functions and an oral given for that position.
And did any of the questions on your oral or written examination to become a criminalist 3 include materials that are contained in the handouts that constitute your manual?
Well, it states the evidence is to be
Overall.
Were there any questions? Let me see if I can get your question properly.
Sure.
Are you asking me if any specific questions in the written or oral pertained to that manual?
Pertain to handouts that are contained in that document we discussed a few days ago that constitutes the manual.
states the testimony given adopted and
Sustained.
You told us during cross-examination that you were aware of the existence of a set of documents that constituted a manual that you said was not yet in effect.
Yes.
And you looked through the binder that contained these written materials.
Yes, I did.
My question to you, sir, is when you took the examination to become a criminalist 3, oral and written, did it contain questions on the materials that you saw when you looked through that binder that is the manual?
I don't recall any specific questions related to that.
In other words, any of the documents that you saw in this manual that you say is not yet in effect did not pertain to the documents in the manual?
I don't recall any specific questions that related to that manual.
Do
or
you recall?
Adopted manual.
I'm sorry, are you finished, sir? My apologies. Did you recall any questions in your examination concerning the collection of biological samples such as blood for purposes of subsequent genetic or DNA testing?
I don't recall any.
Do you recall any questions on your oral or written examinations with respect to keeping records for purposes of chain of custody?
No.
And incidentally, Mr. Fung, that refrigerator on your crime scene truck, is that used to keep soft drinks?
No.
Now, are there records of the courses that you took at the LAPD laboratory?
Are there records?
Yes.
There's a statement of qualifications.
But to your knowledge, in the laboratory, is there any ongoing set of records that's inputted into a computer system or kept in written form as to which courses you or any of the other criminalists take?
I'm not sure if there is or not.
Now, in terms of discussing records for purposes of chain of custody, you are required, are you not, to keep all the original records that you fill out during the course of a field investigation in the laboratory?
I wouldn't say all of them, no.
Well, aren't you supposed to keep in a place that's accessible to supervisors and other criminalists in the laboratory a set of documents that represent the original records that you fill out during the course of a field investigation?
Correct. Rephrase the question.
To your knowledge, is there a requirement that criminalists are supposed to keep original records, crime scene check, such as the crime scene checklist, in the laboratory so that supervisors and other criminalists can get access to them?
Oh, well.
The crime scene checklists, when completed or when the person is done with the crime scene checklist, is filed in an area where that type of information is stored.
Right. And that, when you say those records, we're talking here about the original documents.
Talking about the crime scene checklists.
But
Yes.
when I say original documents, I mean the actual documents that were filled out by you and or Ms. Mazzola in this case at the scene and subsequently.
At this point, it's unintelligible question.
Oh, well.
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. These documents that you've told us are filed and stored at the laboratory. They are the original documents that were created by you or Ms. Mazzola in this case.
There are original documents, yes.
And you're aware, sir, withdrawing. To your knowledge, have those original documents, to the extent they could be found, been produced here in court at the defense, request of the defense?
To the best of my knowledge,
You're aware that we've requested that?
yes.
And you're aware, sir, that we had these documents reviewed prior to your testimony by a document analyst?
I heard something to that effect.
Now, in the production of these original documents, was there not a document for which you could not find an original?
If you could show it to me,
My recollection, I think the prosecution might have introduced a copy of this document, but just for the sake of clarity of the record, I'll ask that this document be marked defendants next to it.
1096.
Do you recall seeing this document that has on it an indication that it is L-16 or laboratory page number 16?
yes.
All right, you've seen this.
With regards to this document?
Yes.
All right, court report, please. All right, thank you, counsel. Proceed.
Do you recognize any of the handwriting on this document?
Yes,
And whose handwriting is it?
it's mine.
And did you not look at this document and refresh your recollection as to what you did with samples on June 14th and on June 15th when you were testifying on direct examination?
I may have. I don't recall if I did or not.
This document is undated.
That's correct.
Do you know when you filled in this document?
I don't recall when I did, no.
This document refers to what you did on June 14th when you released certain items to criminalist Yamauchi.
Yes,
And the item numbers here refer to photo identification numbers.
the numbers refer to photo ID numbers, yes.
And number 117 here would be referring to item 52, or a blood drop at Bundy.
Yes,
And item 115 would be another blood drop at Bundy,
yes,
as would be 114, 113, and 112.
yes,
And 107 and 106 were red stains you took in an effort to get exemplars from the victims at the scene, correct?
yes,
And by exemplars, we mean samples that you thought would almost certainly be the blood of each of the victims.
yes,
And then the next notation here concerns receiving from Mr. Yamauchi on June 15th a blood vial made up of the blood of Nicole Brown Simpson.
yes,
And then the next notation refers to June 15th and a series of now what are item numbers.
yes,
So in the last entry here, you're now not using photo ID numbers, you're now using item numbers.
I believe the photo ID numbers and the item numbers are the same in those cases.
And these, you're referring here on June 15th to turning over to Mr. Yamauchi samples 23, 34, 25, 31, 33.
Yes,
Those are samples from the Bronco.
let me check. Yes,
And you refer here to giving those to Mr. Yamauchi, return same night after sampling.
it says return same right after sampling.
Return same right after sampling. Now, is this page a contemporaneous record that you made as these events were occurring?
I don't know if this was contemporaneous or not. I may have copied this onto this page from a scrap of paper or something.
Would you not agree, sir, that for purposes of keeping records, when you're trying to create a chain of custody, that the proper procedure is to make out records as you are performing the actions, turning over the samples?
That is one way to do it.
Wouldn't that be the most reliable way to do it?
That is one way of doing it.
Isn't that the way that you were taught to do it?
That is one way, yes.
Would you not agree that in terms of creating records for purposes of chain of custody, that it is not a particularly reliable thing to make out a record of what you did on an undated piece of paper?
It's argumentative.
There's no date as to when you filled out this report.
That's correct.
No date as to when you made entries about turning over these pieces of evidence.
The dates are written in the information.
But this document could have been written weeks after these events.
You know, it wasn't weeks.
Well, is there any way from looking at this paper that you can tell us when you filled out this document?
No,
And you don't have an original of this document, do you?
I believe I found it and turned it over to Mr. Matheson.
The original?
I believe so.
When did you do that?
A 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. I don't remember.
You certain of that?
Yes.
Well, it's vague as to whether he's certain about that he turned it over.
Well, let me ask you, are you certain that you turned that over to Mr. Matheson 2 or 3 weeks ago, the original of that document?
Something like that.
Where did you find the original?
It was in here.
It was in your, what you're referring to now is what?
It's my notebook.
All right, so that's your personal notebook,
Yes, it is.
and that contains copies of these various crime scene checklists and other documents relating to this case.
This contains that and other things, yes.
Barb, maybe approach for a minute.
I think this is something we can take up when we conclude with this.
Well, I just want to make a brief record on this point right now.
The record exists. Proceed.
To your knowledge, was the original of that document turned over to the district attorney's office?
I don't know if it was or not.
Now, your reports with respect to field investigations are supposed to be reviewed by a supervisor.
Yes,
And prior to approving and signing these reports, the supervisor is supposed to inspect all case notes, photographs, et cetera, to ensure that your reports are accurate and complete.
yes.
And what is a field investigation note package?
That would contain field investigation notes and a proctor report.
So that would include the crime scene checklists that we've been discussing during your testimony.
Yes,
It would include the vehicle search tech checklists that we've been discussing during your testimony.
yes,
It would include the evidence collection sheets that we've been discussing during your testimony.
yes,
It would include the diagrams that were drawn on the back of some of these pieces of paper that you and Ms. Mazzola made during the course of your investigation on the 13th and the 14th.
yes,
And isn't it required that the field investigation note packages must be submitted prior to filing at the lab to the supervisor of the trace analysis unit for review?
At the time, there was no trace analysis supervisor.
All right. What supervisor was in charge of reviewing your field investigation note package in this case?
Overruled.
My property reports were reviewed by Mr. Matheson.
What about the crime scene checklists? Who reviewed those?
I don't know.
To your knowledge, were they given to anyone for review?
Copies were given to lab management.
Are you aware that deficient note packages are supposed to be corrected and supplemented by involved employees and subsequently filed and stored? I'm asking him if he's aware of that.
Overall.
That has been a practice, yes.
And would that lab management include Michelle Kessler, the head of the laboratory?
She's the crime lab director.
And to your knowledge, was she reviewing your work in this case?
I don't know if she reviewed or how much of it she reviewed.
Was she discussing your work in this case with you in the week of June 13th to June 20th?
I don't recall if she did or not.
To your knowledge, did anyone at the laboratory in a supervisory position come back to you and point out anything that needed to be supplemented in your field note package?
Not that I can recall.
Now, ordinarily, when you book something at the laboratory, you go through certain procedures. Book an item of evidence.
Yes,
And this would include swatches that were collected from bloodstains
yes,
and certain physical items of evidence, such as the glove and the hat that were collected in this case.
yes,
And the ordinary procedure is that a DR number is bought by one of the detectives in the case.
yes,
And after the DR number is bought, you can begin to book certain evidence in a place called the Evidence Control Unit.
yes.
And the Evidence Control Unit is a certain room at SID.
It's more than just a room, but it is a section of SID.
It's a section of SID. And when you book an item of evidence in a case, what happens is that the people at ECU will stamp it with a date.
I don't know what they do once I give it to them.
Well, haven't you ever seen an item of evidence booked at ECU?
Yes, I have.
I mean, you do that all the time, don't you?
Yes,
And don't you recall that at ECU, when they get either a paper bag or an envelope or something of that nature, that they will put a stamp on it that gives the date?
I bring my evidence to property. I sign my name next to a register. The station officer or property officer reads the report, makes sure that they can book or understand what's on the report, and I leave. I don't stick around and see what they do.
So you've never noticed a timestamp on it.
I never have, no.
Have you ever noticed at ECU that they will put a barcode on the item of the packaging of the item of evidence when you turn it over to them?
I have noticed barcodes, yes.
And you're aware that when the barcode is put on the item of evidence, that item is then put into a computer tracking system.
I wasn't going to, but I have things to say. Come on, give me a break. So he wrote notes on a separate piece of paper and then transferred them over to the log. Are you kidding me? That means he mishandled evidence? Are you joking? No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean he mishandled evidence. And there's no date on the log of when he wrote the notes. Well, yeah, because we know what date it was. We know when he was at the crime scene. It's not a secret. So like, oh geez, how in the world are we ever gonna find out what date he wrote that note? Oh, it'll be lost in history forever. What? No. So like every single job has the absolute perfect way to do that job. But there's human beings involved. This is a huge crime scene. This is a huge there are detectives running around everywhere and photographers and other criminologists that he has to worry about and a mountain of evidence that he has to collect. So like I'll just use the restaurant as an example. When someone comes in and sits down, you're supposed to get to them within, X amount of seconds to say hi. Do you want a drink? Right? Right. But what happens if you're on the way to that table to say hi? Can I get you a drink? And another table asks you for a freaking side of ranch. You get the side of ranch. That's not the perfect way to do it. Does that mean I mishandle my job? No. He wrote notes. He put them on a piece of paper. Then he collected his notes and he put them in the log like he's supposed to. He didn't do anything wrong. I mean, I don't think he did anything wrong. He had a lot to do that day. And he was trying to get it all done perfectly.
I don't know how it works, but it is tracked by a computer.
Well, once an item of evidence is booked at ECU, are you aware of how criminalists at SID would then obtain that package for subsequent analysis?
Oh,
I know how I do it.
Well, you've worked in trace analysis.
Yes, I have.
And if you're working in trace analysis and you want to get an item of evidence that's been booked in a case, you have to go to the ECU.
When I worked in trace analysis, ECU was not in existence.
Have you worked in any unit where you have to go to ECU to obtain an item of evidence?
The unit I work in now, I occasionally have to go down and pick up items from ECU.
And when you pick up an item from ECU, the person at ECU has to take one of these barcode readers and hit a barcode of their own. Have you seen that?
Yes.
And you have a barcode, correct?
Yes.
And your barcode is hit with one of these light pens.
Or a tracking device.
And then the barcode on the package of evidence is hit with one of those light pens.
That's one of the steps.
And the purpose of those operations is to try to create some kind of tracking record as to the fact that you have gone to ECU to take out a piece of evidence for analysis.
It does make a record, yes.
And then when you finish your analysis, you would return it to the ECU, and a similar procedure is performed.
Yes.
And it is by that method that, to your understanding, items of evidence are tracked at SID.
That's one of the methods.
Now, with respect to the evidentiary items in this case,
He has no idea what that word means. He did. And Judge Ito keeps saying, "Are you done? Are you done? Are you done?" No, Judge, I have a lot more to do.
Warren, the ones you collected at Bundy on June 13th, they were not booked until June 16th.
That's correct. No, final booking was not until June 16th.
In other words, this process of taking the package with the barcode on it and handing it to the person at ECU was not done until June 16th.
I did not do that until June 16th because my property reports were not written or completed until that time.
But the point is, sir, that until June 16th, these items were not put into that computer tracking system at SID.
They couldn't be because the property report wasn't prepared yet.
They couldn't be because they had not yet been formally booked, or to use your phrase, finally booked.
They were not placed into ECU at that time.
And by placing him into ECU and having at least the barcode put on it and the evidence tracking procedure begun, that's what's ordinarily meant by final booking, to use your phrase.
Final booking, yes.
On the evening of June 13th, the swatches from Bundy had been placed in test tubes.
Yes,
The swatches from Rockingham had been placed in test tubes.
yes,
They were put inside coin envelopes.
yes,
They were laid in a cardboard box top, laid down.
they were lit. It was more than one box top, but yes,
Those box tops were put in a cabinet in the evidence processing room.
yes.
That cabinet was unlocked.
The cabinet was unlocked. However, the door to
Was
the
the
evidence
cabinet
processing room
unlocked?
was
Wait,
locked.
wait. You need to let him finish the answer.
Well, I thought he did, and he
No,
was
he was-
volunteering, Your Honor. I
Well,
thought
then
his,
there's an appropriate motion, and don't interrupt me either,
my apologies. I'd moved to strike the last part of his answer.
as being non-responsive.
Yes.
Yes, granted. Jury is to disregard the last part of the answer. Proceed. Question was the cabinet locked or unlocked?
Was the cabinet locked, yes or no?
There is no lock on the cabinet.
When you received the blood vials from Detective Van Adder on December 15th, withdraw. On, my apologies, I'm got the wrong year, the wrong month.
Take a deep breath.
Okay. On June 15th, you received some blood vials
No, keep holding it. Keep holding it.
from Mr. Yamauchi.
Yes,
A blood vial containing whole blood from Miss Nicole Brown Simpson.
that's one of the vials.
A blood vial containing whole blood from Ron Goldman.
Yes,
These vials, when you received them from Mr. Yamauchi, did they have blood streaking over the top of the vial on paper that was covering the vial?
I don't recall.
On the morning of June 14th, you came to the lab.
Yes,
You arrived around when?
between 7:30 and 8.
And when you got there at 7:30, did you meet with someone?
Met with several people.
Who did you meet with?
I saw criminalist Mazzola that morning. Detective Lang. Criminalist Yamauchi. And Mr. Matheson. To name a few.
I'm sorry?
To name a few.
Anyone else that you can recall?
Not that pertains to the case.
Well, just tell us who else was there, whether they pertain to the case or not.
Hold
There were many people in the laboratory, and I saw many of them.
This meeting that you had at around 7:30 occurred in the evidence processing room?
No, I'm not exactly sure where. Some of the, I saw Detective Lang in the serology unit.
So there's a separate room for the serology unit. It's a laboratory room.
Yes,
And that contains a separate freezer for the serology unit.
the serology unit does have a freezer, yes.
And that's a separate room from this evidence control unit where items are booked, correct?
Where the brooking process takes place, yes.
And after items are received in the evidence control unit, there's a freezer where they might be stored.
Could you repeat that?
The evidence control unit has a number of different places where items of evidence are stored.
Yes,
There are shelves where items of evidence are stored.
yes,
There is a freezer where biological evidence is stored.
yes,
There is a refrigerator unit where things such as whole blood vials that contain whole blood are stored.
yes.
In this case, there was actually an ordinary kind of locker where certain items of evidence in this case were stored.
Are we talking about the evidence control unit or the
Yes.
evidence processing room?
Evidence control unit.
I don't know where the evidence was stored once I placed it into, put it into their custody.
But what I've just described is one whole unit where the final booking procedures take place, the evidence control unit. Right?
Yes,
Now there's a separate place called the serology laboratory.
yes,
And in the serology laboratory, there is a separate freezer where items are kept when serologists are working on them.
I don't know what is kept in the serology freezer. I haven't worked that unit.
But you're saying that on the morning of June 14th, you saw Detective Lang in the serology lab.
He was there, yes.
Was he there when you got there?
I'm not sure.
He could have been.
He could have been.
And who else was with him, if anyone?
I don't recall.
So you had a meeting, the first meeting you recall took place in the serology laboratory with Detective Lang?
I don't know if it was the first, but it was one of the meetings.
All
That
right.
I-
Where else did meetings take place that morning at around 7:30?
Well, I can't say if it was at 7:30 or not, but I can tell you different meetings that occurred that morning.
If you can, sir, give us your best recollection of who you met with and where you met with them from the moment you arrived at the serology lab on the morning of June 14th.
Sustain, rephrase the question.
Can you tell us who you met with and where you met with them when you first arrived at the serology laboratory on the morning of June 14th?
In the serology lab, Detective Lang, Mr. Matheson, and criminalist Yamauchi were present.
And you had a discussion at that time? All of
Yes.
you? You discussed the items of evidence in this case?
To the best of my recollection, yes.
Detective Lang indicated which items he wanted analyzed first?
I don't know if he was involved in that, in specifying which items he wanted to be analyzed.
Do you recall Detective Lang indicating that he wanted the blood drops found at Bundy analyzed right away?
He may have said something to that effect.
and you took away from that conversation.
I'll make a motion to strike the witness's answer. It's called for speculation. No foundation.
Overruled. Overruled. So you may have said something to that.
Do you recall whether Detective Lang was indicating with some urgency that he wanted the blood drops at Bundy analyzed right away?
It's asked and answered.
Overruled.
He wanted a priority put on it.
Did he want a priority put on the analysis of the Rockingham glove?
I don't recall if that was one of the items he specified or not.
Was there an agreement at that meeting as to what items should be analyzed immediately?
At some point in the morning, it was decided what items would be analyzed, but I don't know at exactly what time or if Detective Lang was present or not.
Did there come a time that you went to the evidence processing room that morning?
Yes,
Was that after this meeting in the serology lab?
yes.
And around what time did you enter the evidence processing room?
Approximately 9:30, somewhere in there.
Have you looked at any records to refresh your recollection as to when you might have entered the evidence processing room before you came to testify?
Yes, however, I don't remember the time.
Have you gone over these events with some care with the prosecution?
Yes.
A number of times.
I wouldn't say a number of times, but we have gone over it.
All right, around 9 or 9:30, you recall going to the evidence processing room.
It's the evidence.
Overruled.
Is that right?
That's about the time, yes.
And Ms. Mazzola was there as well.
I don't recall.
Well, was it about this time that you began to remove the swatches from the test tubes, you and Ms. Mazzola?
It was in that time frame, yes.
What about the sneakers that Detective Lang brought on the morning of June 14th? Did you receive those in the evidence processing room?
No.
You received those in the serology lab?
To the best of my recollection, yes.
He had those with him in the serology lab when you arrived?
I believe so.
What about the Rockingham glove? Was the Rockingham glove in the serology lab when you arrived?
No.
When you went to the evidence processing room at around 9:30, did you perform some analysis on the Rockingham glove?
I didn't do any analysis, no.
Well, did you not remove a hair from the Rockingham glove?
Yes, I did.
Was that one of the first things you did? Was that the first thing you did when you got into the evidence processing room that morning?
I don't recall what the order of events was.
So you don't recall whether or not you removed the hair from the Rockingham glove before or after the process began of removing the swatches from the test tube?
They were done at different times.
But you don't recall the order.
No, I don't.
And at some point that morning, before you left to go search the Bronco at the print shed, you poured off some blood from Mr. Simpson's blood vial.
No.
Well, did you participate in pouring off some blood from Mr. Simpson's blood vial with Mr. Yamauchi?
No.
Did you give Mr. Simpson's blood vial to Mr. Yamauchi on the morning of June 14th?
Yes, I did.
Do you remember when you did that, in terms of the order of what withdrawn. Let's start it this way. Did you hand Mr. Yamauchi Mr. Simpson's blood vial in the evidence processing room?
I gave him the package,
You gave him the package.
the gray envelope, yes.
Was the gray envelope sealed?
Not at that point.
Did you reach in and take out the blood vial and hand it to Mr. Yamauchi?
I gave him the package.
Were you present when Mr. Yamauchi took the blood vial out of the package?
I don't recall if I saw him do that or not.
Now, at some point in the evidence processing room, Mr. Yamauchi began cutting samples out of the Rockingham glove.
I don't know that.
You didn't see that.
I don't recall seeing that.
All right, Mr. Scheck, I think this would be a good point to change court reporters. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a brief recess at this time. Please remember all of my admonitions to you. Do not discuss the case amongst yourselves, form any opinions about the case, allow anybody to communicate with you, or conduct any deliberations till the matter has been submitted to you. Mr. Fung, you may step down. We'll be in recess for 15 minutes. Back on the record in the Simpson matter, all parties are again present. Deputy McNair, let's have the jurors, please.
If I don't finish at 12, I can tell you precisely how much. It shouldn't be much. I'm going to try to finish at 12. I may not.
All right, let me see.
It would only be a half hour more.
Are the jurors on their way? All right, thank you, counsel. Mr.
I
Scheck, you
predict
may
he does
resume.
not finish at
Very
12.
much, Your Honor. Mr. Fung, just before we broke, we were discussing your activities on the morning of June 14th at SID.
Yes,
And you indicated at one point that you had refreshed your recollection by looking at some records with respect to where you were at particular times that morning.
yes.
What records did you look at?
There's a card system in the laboratory that keeps a record of when people go in and out of certain areas of the laboratory. And those records are what I referred to.
You mean a computer printout of some kind?
Yes,
And Mr. Goldberg showed you a copy of that?
yes.
Mr. Fung, I noticed that on direct examination, you were not asked whether Detective Furman showed you 4 red stains on the bottom exterior of the Bronco door on the morning of June 13th.
Sustained. It's not a question, counsel. It's testifying. The jury is to disregard that last question. Ask a question, Mr. Scheck.
Were you asked on direct examination, if you recall, about whether Detective Furman showed you 4 red stains on the exterior of the Bronco door on the morning of June 13th?
As phrased, that's correct. Sustained. Ask him if the events occurred on June the 13th, not whether or not he was asked the questions. That's irrelevant.
have you spent in your preparation time with prosecutors some hours discussing the issue of whether or not 4 red stains were seen by you on the morning of June 13th on the exterior of the Bronco door?
I wouldn't say hours. I wouldn't even say 1 hour. I wouldn't even say more than 5 minutes.
The issue, however, arose.
Yes.
Was there any discussion with you as to whether or not you should discuss the question of whether you saw 4 red stains on the exterior of the Bronco door on the morning of June 13th?
I don't understand that question.
Was there any discussion of whether or not you should testify on direct examination as to whether or not you saw 4 red stains on the exterior of the Bronco door on the morning of June 13th?
I don't know, or I didn't tell Mr. Goldberg, and he didn't tell me that he would be asking me those questions specifically.
So in other words, in your review sessions for your direct examination, you did not anticipate being asked that question on direct.
Sustained.
You testified at the preliminary hearing in this case on July 6th and July 7th.
Yes.
Prior to your testimony on July 6th, do you recall that Detective Furman testified on July 5th?
I know that he testified before me, but to the date, I'm not exactly sure.
Do you recall that prior to your testimony at the preliminary hearing, Detective Furman testified that he did not direct you or a photographer to take any pictures of 4 red stains on the exterior of the Bronco door?
I don't recall any of his testimony from the preliminary hearing.
Are you aware at this trial, Detective Furman testified that he did show you 4 red stains at the bottom exterior of the Bronco door on the morning of June 13th?
Sustained.
Are you aware that Detective Furman testified at this trial that he directed your attention to 3 or 4 little marks, little lines, translucent red on the door sill of the driver's door on June 13th?
I don't know what his testimony was.
No one told you from the district attorney's office that he testified to that effect at this trial?
No.
Did any detective tell you that Detective Furman had testified to this jury about showing you those 4 lines at the bottom of the Bronco door before you came in here to testify?
No.
Did anyone at the crime lab tell you about it?
Overall. No.
If you want to consult the testimony, it's at page 18550 of the direct.
Proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, Mr. Fung, let me ask you directly. On June 13th, in the morning, did Detective Furman point out 4 red lines, red stains to you on the bottom of the Bronco door?
I don't recall him doing so.
When you say you don't recall, are you saying it didn't happen?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying I don't recall if he did or if he didn't.
Right? If you had seen 4 red stains on the exterior of the Bronco door on the morning of June 13th, you would have taken a photograph of them, would you not?
That would depend, but I don't know. But that would depend on the circumstances.
Let's try these circumstances. You were pointed out a red stain by the door handle.
Yes,
You were photographed pointing to that red stain, correct?
yes,
And you're the person that's supposed to direct the photographer during the collection process.
yes,
You're supposed to photograph items of evidence of some importance that are pointed out to you by the detectives.
yes,
In the circumstances of this case, if you had seen 4 red stains on the exterior of the Bronco door, would you not have directed the photographer to take a picture of it?
it would be likely, yes.
If you had seen 4 red stains on the exterior of the Bronco door, would you have not done a presumptive test on June 13th?
Possibly. If it was necessary, I would have.
If you had seen 4 red stains on the exterior of the Bronco door, would you have not swatched them?
I would possibly have swatched them.
If you had seen 4 red stains on the exterior of the Bronco door, would you not have included that observation in your reports for that day?
If I thought it was important to the investigation, I would have included in my notes, yes.
Looking back at the circumstances of this case, would not those 4 red stains have been an important detail that you would have certainly included in your notes?
From my perspective now,
Let's try your perspective then.
I don't recall my exact state of mind then, but I don't know exactly if I would have put it down or not.
On June 14th, you conducted this examination of the Bronco at the print shop,
Yes,
and you were looking for any evidence of blood in the Bronco.
I was looking for blood evidence, yes,
Red stains.
yes,
You got on your hands and knees with a flashlight and examined the exterior area.
I did examine the area door sill. I don't know if I was on my hands and knees.
Don't you recall a picture of you with a flashlight on your hands and knees looking at a red stain just inside the interior of the Bronco?
I may have been squatting, but I wasn't on my hands and knees.
All right, squatting. Car, I'd like to display a picture now that shows the prosecution. I'd ask this be marked to defendants next in order, although I believe there may be a picture of it. A picture of you holding a flashlight, examining the door sill area of the Bronco on June 14th at the print shed.
I think in that particular photograph, I am indicating to the photographer where I want him to locate his shot, and that would be where the card is. I can't read the number from here.
Did you not examine the door sill area at the print shed on June 14th?
Yes, I did.
Mr. Harris, can we go tighter on the door sill area? Right where the door is opening?
Yes, 1097.
Mr. Fung, do you see 4 red stains on the door sill of that Bronco in this picture?
Your Honor, I'll object. I don't think it's the exterior doors of the section.
Overruled.
It's washed out. The white area is very washed out. Can't even make any detail out in any of that portion.
Let me put it directly to you, sir. On June 14th, when you examined the Bronco, did you see 4 red stains on the door sill of the Bronco?
I object counsel's tone of voice. I also object as this does not refer to the area that was
I
I
object to
the
counsel's
objection.
tone of voice.
Speaking objection.
Okay, that's new law for me.
It is a speaking objection. Proceed.
My question to you, sir. On June 14th, did you see 4 red stains anywhere on the exterior of the Bronco door?
There were stains present, but I did not collect them.
It's your testimony, sir, that you saw on June 13th, June 14th, at the print shed, 4 red stains on the exterior of the Bronco door.
That's not what I said.
Sustained.
On June 14th, did you see 4 red stains on the exterior door sill of this Bronco?
I don't know if I saw 4 red stains.
If you had seen 4 red stains on the morning of June 14th, would you not have directed the photographer to take a picture of it?
If they were heavy enough stains, then I would have, yes.
Is it your testimony that you saw 4 red stains on June 14th, but you didn't think they were heavy enough, and therefore you did not direct the photographer to take a picture?
There was quite a bit of blood, quite a bit of light staining around the driver compartment of the vehicle, and I only directed the photographer to concentrate on the heavier stains.
Is it your testimony that you saw 4 red stains on the exterior of the Bronco door on June 14th, but you thought they were not heavy enough, and therefore you did not direct the photographer to take a picture? Is that what happened?
I don't know if there were 4 or not. The number 4 is the problem with the yes or no.
3 on the exterior of the Bronco?
I don't
on
recall the
June-
number.
You don't recall?
Ms. Clark. That's twice
Please
for this witness.
Please repeat it.
Are you
Repeat
saying,
question.
are you saying that you saw 3 red stains on the morning of June 14th?
Overruled.
No, I'm not saying that.
Are you saying you saw 2 red stains?
I do remember that there was either a stain or 2 stains that were very light along the sill area that I did not collect.
Can you point out for us, using Elmo, the area in this, some red stains on the morning of June 14th?
Sustained.
Well, you were just making reference before in answering my question. You were looking towards the monitor and indicating something about an area, were you not?
I was trying to find some detail in the photograph that could help me, but it's really looks fairly washed out to me.
No,
Well, can you just show us?
no, we've had enough. Oof. What an ass. Seriously. I mean, he kept saying, "Oh, let me just ask you directly. Why don't you start with that? This is maybe three questions total. And we are here for days and days and days and days and days and days. And he's going around and around in circles, and he's putting all these ideas in the stain. Like you're not allowed to do that." And then Marcia just got in trouble. I don't know if you guys noticed, but Judge, that was the second time with this witness that she said something out loud. She's gonna get busted if she does it again. She needs to let Goldberg do his job. Nope, mine's strong. Mine's strong. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming out. I really, really, really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great day, and I shall see you again real soon, okay? Bye, guys.